Hey, good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. This morning, it might be night when you're watching this. I'm not sure. We're playing Dolmenwood this morning, and we are using the old school Essentials game system as we progress. And I'm joined here. I'm Alex. I'll be the game master, and I'm joined this morning by Winston playing Silver the Elf, Issac playing Friar Fitzpatrick, Moreen playing Lillibeth the Hunter, Ryan playing Sir Geoffrey the Knight, Chris playing Thomas the Minstrel, and we have a new player joining us. New player, new character. We have Dawson joining us with Topsy, the Grimalkin. And so we will get into all of that and explain what is going on with our story as we pick up. If this is your first time joining us, please do join us in our Discord server. That is where you will be able to come and chat with us when we're not streaming, talk to us about this game, talk to us about games that you're playing, and you can even find games to play in with us here on the channel. So we do run a community campaign that is open to everybody. It's a 5th edition campaign that is currently kind of moving into the Planescape campaign setting, and we're kind of opening things up for people to traverse the multiverse. So it's kind of an exciting time to be joining that. So best way to learn the details about all of these things is just to jump into our Discord and get to know us. So hope you'll take us up on that. In game, we'll just get right into our gameplay here this morning. We're going to be picking up basically a day and a half after our previous session had concluded. In the previous game, our characters had gone up and done what they thought was just going to be a little bit of a delivery run, some groceries for a wizard up in the woods. It turned out to be a whole thing where this wizard ended up on the wrong side of a magical mishap and split his skin, bones, and other internal organs into 3 sentient beings. And so not what they would have wanted to have happened, because they were hoping to enlist the powers of this wizard to help them deal with a threat that is causing issues in the village of Langshorn. There is a corrupted unicorn that has been terrorizing the countryside, killing the livestock of many of the farmers and such, and it has become a big headache for Burkmaster Cluid, who is expected to deal with this threat on his own. And the characters, I think, learned a little something in the previous session about why he is hesitant or fearful of, I guess, reaching out for extra help from his master or his higher up in Lord Malbleet, and that is because it would seem that his daughter is married to Lord Malbleet, and one of the secrets that the party has learned is that Burkmaster Cluid is found a child out in the woods, a half-Breggle child that he suspects is his. And it would seem that there's something wrong with this boy. Burkmaster Cluid suspects, or had suspected, that maybe it was his grandson. And the wizard that they had gone to go visit had confirmed that was true, and it was working on a solution to try to help the boy with whatever is wrong with him. We don't really know much about that part of it, but these are secrets that the party is keeping really close to the chest. Certainly Madame Shantywood has some interest in learning this, and the group has been tasked to learn that for her agent, Seartell, who's waiting in Langshorn for updates. But for the time being, they're holding off on that. And they are directing their attention to the task of the corrupted unicorn. So in cooperation with Burkmaster Cluid, he has arranged for a number of, let's call them hirelings, even though they're not functionally going to be hirelings for the purposes of gameplay, but basically a band of mercenaries that is going to join them in a second attempt to deal with the unicorn. Attempt number 1, not so great. And they realized that they needed reinforcements and maybe some extra help in order to deal with this fearsome foe. So they've enlisted the help of 2 goat folk, 2 humans, and a Grimalkin. Maybe I'll make a little space here just for Dawson. Could you tell us just a little bit about Topsy? Maybe like appearance and just general demeanor, whatever you want to tell us about them as we start things up.
Oh, sure. I'll be playing Topsy Fluff-a-kins, the wonderful Grimalkin. She stands at about a height of 3'8". A little bit on the heavier side, I'd say like maybe 80 pounds for a Grimalkin, which is a little bit on the rotund side. She would have her fur would be that of a calico, so white fur with black and orange spots, black on one eye, black on the other, and her general demeanor be that of more of a jovial and excitable nature, and just like wants to talk to just everybody. Like if she gets the opportunity, she's like tugging at your leg or something, just asking you questions.
So probably no very little effort had to go into the Burkmaster getting you to talk about what you what your skill sets were and get you on board with this quest that they're on. So awesome. Thank you for that. So basically these mercenaries had been hired and you all spent a day. There would have been a day in Langshorn where probably your lot was just resting, recuperating from your travels. And then the plan was the next day you would head out to the countryside to try to track down this unicorn. And fortunately, you do have a little bit of a tip, because I guess an X factor that happened while you were at the wizard's home is that you learned that Polith, the daughter of the Droon that you had talked to over at the Gallic Stone, it would seem that she's been following you. There was some talk of you helping to introduce her to a witch, and she took that very seriously and very literally, and it seems is going to follow you to the ends of the earth until you deliver on that. And so there's sort of, you got kind of a fellowship of the ring happening as you're like going out into the woods. It's like this mismatch of different personalities and characters that have kind of come together for this unique purpose. But she had a tip for you that she saw something strange out where the burial mounds of the goat folk are. That at midnight, she had seen where this unicorn, you had talked about the unicorn, and she said she's seen that before, and she knows that there is a mound that during the day does not have any doorway or entrance or stone, but just after midnight, there is an entrance that appears. And I believe what she told you is that she has also seen goat folk maybe wandering around near that mound at times. So the party has decided that is where they want to go and they want to head. And so probably you will arrive in the vicinity of where Polith will direct you sometime during the day. And it is overcast, muggy day, a little bit uncomfortable in the heat, but you're out in this area, kind of out of the formal wood. And you can see, you know that you're in like kind of the same vicinity as some of those burial mounds because you've been here before. And so you can see the little trail that kind of runs through and in between all the different burial mounds and roads that lead up to the various places where goat folk that died during the Great War between goat folk and Droon are interred. And you know, if you wandered around in this area long enough, you would probably arrive at one of the burial mounds that you had explored once upon a time, and that of Chide. So it's a little bit of a labyrinth, but Polith directs you to this one particular mound that has no markers and doesn't seem to have the same designations of any important figures that would be interred, and there is certainly no entrance that you can see. She has told you that these strange phenomenon don't occur until after midnight. So I think we'll just fast forward to that point in time. And so probably take, some turns resting and such. You're not expecting anything, but everybody's probably a little bit on edge just in case something will happen. But it is a peaceful stretch up until just moments after twilight, and a low mist begins to fill the bottom of the dale. and it transforms the mound into almost this visual, almost like an island sitting in the middle of a cloudy sea. And you could see there's light from the newly risen moon that catches on a stone that appears, a mossy rock that just seems to, like, one moment it was not there and now it is there, as if it has marking the entrance to this thing all along. And probably just as you were taking stock of this and conferring with one another about how to proceed, you watch as it rolls aside and figures start emerging from the mound. 4 elf guards. They look like they are dressed with leather armor, wielding spears, and they each have helmets that look like they were fashioned from the skulls of large rams, like curled horns that are just off to the helmet sides. 2 kind of move on either side of the entranceway now. There's like this entranceway into the mound. It looks like maybe some steps like kind of descend down into the earth. And they kind of post up almost like sentries, like guarding this spot.
And they're clearly elves, right?
They are clearly elves. And it's not a dark passageway that they are guarding. There's a green, almost sickly green, like light that's filtering up and out. And Silver probably would identify that is very likely light from like a fairy torch. It's kind of like a fairy fire kind of glow. And so you're kind of getting a sense the passageways beyond that are lit with whatever that light is.
How far away are we?
I would guess that you probably didn't post up super, super close to the mound. Probably more, we'll say you're some like 200, 300 feet away. The guards don't seem as if they are alerted to your presence.
Okay.
I'm going to say, friends, new and old, before we move any further, please gather around and get close. For I'd like to tell you a story. I know, Lillibeth, don't worry. I could see her kind of just like, what? Well, more so not a story now that you're close, and more of a blessing. Here we go. Sorry, didn't want to ask for consent, but I am going to bless us all. I
knew
pray
something religious.
Pray to you, God, and I mean to the one true God, and more so Saint Godwin, for he is a converter of kings. We pray that you protect us and give us the strength as you did when you fought in the king's tourney so long ago. We pray that you help us, and through your words, my and our prayer reaches the one true God. Amen. And as he does that, and you all feel a bit invigorated as I cast a bless spell on everyone around. We get a +1 to attack and +1 to damage.
Wow, that's really good.
What's the duration on that?
For an hour,
Ooh.
6 turns. So.
And all
Yeah.
the hirelings will have that as well, so feel free to be reminding me, because I'll control the hirelings, but I'll probably forget the bless. So
Yeah, bless in first edition's no joke.
Yeah, that's nice.
awesome.
Thank you, Friar.
Don't thank me. We have a lot of work ahead of us. Yes.
We do. Well, those guards up there, I'm not sure what they're up to. If there could be something like a ferry road in that barrow, possibly. Clearly some kind of illusion magic, I guess, but there are my people, so I'm happy to approach. I take a leery eye at the 5 mercenaries that we brought along with us to this strange situation.
Hey, you want me to go along with you? You can't be going all by yourself.
Do you have any weapons, Topsy?
Oh yeah, sure. And like you look at her, and she's got like some like used like short sword and just like a big stick. And just like a simple leather. Well, I didn't bring it all. It kind of was a little too heavy for me, and I think most of it's broken. But this is what I got. This is good stuff.
So maybe a fun dynamic. You'll just notice that other hirelings kind of trade looks. Like they're annoyed that they're in the same classification as this Grimalkin, and that they're all getting paid the same. But they're professionals. They don't say anything.
All right, well, I'll take Topsy with me, and we'll just march up to the guards.
And real quick about the guards, like the manner of dress that they're in, and any kind of like coloring stuff that they're wearing. Does it look familiar at all? Like familiar to anything that we saw, like about the elves in Sir Chide's burrow? Or is there any reason that we would think that these elves would be related to the princess's tribe?
I don't think so. The manner of their dress and the style of their armor suggests that there's something separate.
You said their helmets were like animal skulls or something?
Yeah, like skulls and like horned. So like maybe like a ram's skull or a giant goat skull with like kind of a curled horn. These, I guess, these guards. Yeah, maybe. Probably get a little bit of that feel if you're thinking that. So we've got Silver and Topsy. The two of you approach, and then like as soon as you're within eye shot, they kind of like they wield their weapons with just a little bit of like there's a little bit of tension, and they call out to you, and one of them says, "Avant! Approach and be recognized if you serve the court."
And are they speaking Sylvan or High Elvish or?
They would be speaking High Elvish. They're talking specifically to you, Silver.
Mm-hmm. And I'll say, and I guess would I recognize as this the court of the one that is 7, the prince who is 7?
The accent that they have is familiar to you from your home.
Okay. I give Topsy a little, like, I'll kind of like lean over and say, I have a bit of a falling out with this court possibly, so I'm going to play it cool. I think everything should be okay, right? And I'll kind of pat on the, like, ruffle the feather, not ruffle the fur. Is that okay? Can I do that? I don't know.
You're fine with it. Go ahead.
All right, but I'll approach and I'll respond back in High Elvish, and then I'll say, hello, of course, very familiar with the court. I am a refugee from Lampwrack in these strange lands.
So, you have come to return home?
Not exactly. And I'll introduce Topsy, and I'll switch over to, I guess, what would be a language that they would speak? Would they speak High Woldish or Woldish?
You can switch to Sylvan if you want. That's a little easier.
Sylvan? They speak Sylvan? I guess they speak Sylvan. I'm going to switch to Sylvan and say, this is my colleague, Topsy. We're actually on the hunt for a beast. So not looking for a way home at the time, but we're hunting a beast that's most foul.
Interesting. And you approach us because you are hoping that we have seen it.
Well, yes. We've heard rumors that this barrow is possibly connected. The creature maybe is stalking these grounds.
And who would have said this? A mortal? No, we are not connected with any such creature, but if there is some ferocious beast that is stalking the mortal folk, probably they deserve it. Probably they did something to anger it.
I don't think this is the case. This beast that we've seen is reminiscent of some of the evil that destroyed my home. I think it may be connected to the Naglord.
That is a high charge. You have proof?
Well, no, that's why I wanted to hunt the thing and find it, because as you are aware, the Naglord's spread is finally becoming a problem for us elves. And I'm interested in learning more about it, slaying it, possibly discovering its origins.
Well, good luck to you on your quest. You will not find that we have anything to do with whatever it is you hunt. Like I say, this seems like something that is afflicting the mortals, and it is curious that one such as you would take up to helping them with this.
Well, again, I have to say, I have been displaced. These mortals have been most kind. They've allowed me to take refuge. But more interestingly, the adventures we've been on, I have taken to pinning them, and we've discovered quite some interesting lore about elves, humankind, and interesting to read. I promise. I kind of like fish out my scroll and say, as soon as I start producing copies, I'll make sure to share. You'll come to know my name as a famous poet.
By the sounds of it, we'll come to know you as he who has sympathy for mortals who turned his back on his own kind. You should come with us, brother. Return home. You can bring your cat friend if you would like.
Are you saying there's a ferry road here?
There are more of us.
And who do you pledge your fealty to?
To the prince, of course.
Does it feel, am I recognizing these ram horn helmets? Is that something that I might have seen?
No.
Of course, the prince, which manifestation of him?
The prince who was 7.
When you say was, you mean the prince who is 7, right?
That was once true.
I haven't been gone that long. How much has changed?
We serve Prince Ashhart.
Was that one of the manifestations, Alex?
You've never heard that name before.
Got it. Prince Ashhart.
And perhaps as you are up close with them, we'll just say that you do see something in the mound. There's just like a little bit of a descent, but you can see like a clear path in. It's about, I don't know, we'll say it's about like 30 or 40 feet back, but you can see that there's this tapestry that is on the wall. That's clear. It's well lit in there, but you can see a tapestry that there's a figure on the tapestry. It's embroidered with this imagery of a figure that looks like the prince who is 7, but he is sitting on a throne that is adorned with this gigantic skull, like a many-horned skull.
Well, they do say time runs differently in the mortal realm, so certainly things could have evolved since I've been there. And I'm kind of like, I'm sort of trying to sense, because obviously we've been directed this way, right? This is incredibly suspicious to me. Very strange situation. I guess I'm trying to like get a read on the interior. Like, does it look like, I don't know, does it look like it's a ferry road? Does it look like it's just a barrow that's been decorated, as far as I can tell? Does it look like it's something fantastical that's going to be dangerous if I bring my
It's a stone-lined hallway. As for whether it's a ferry road, that would be very difficult to discern without knowing, because a ferry road could take on so many different manifestations. But by all appearances, other than the fact that it's a passage that like appeared out of nowhere, the interior looks like it's stone reinforced and like it's something that was crafted. It's not earthy.
Got it. Okay. I'll say, well, I hope you understand that I'm sort of chronicling these events, and for me to just up and leave in the middle might be a problem. We really need to find this beast. I understand your suspicions of my patriots, except for Topsy here, but I think that it's important that I confer with them and see, how we'd like to proceed. And so I'm going to go back, try to like basically break off the conversation if they'll let me.
Yeah. They don't leave their post. They just kind of nod as you declare your intention, and you return back to the group.
Yeah. But I'll just sort of share it out with everyone what was going on and say, well, some context on this. I've never heard of this Prince Ashhart, yet they had tapestry that was reminiscent of the prince who was 7. And I'm a little concerned that there's a corruption afoot. Oh, Lillibeth, you're speak up, Lillibeth. You're muted. Oh no.
Yeah, we're not here.
I don't know. She seems agitated though. Like, speak up.
Well, if you ask me, they seem to have some sort of purpose there, else why would they come here?
Somebody give her a piece of paper and a pen.
For what it's worth, Moreen, like you could use that other mic that you were using. Like while you were talking, it was fine. It was picking up like constant noise. So if you know how to switch it.
Okay.
Silver.
Personally, I find it odd that you have what appear as 4 elven military men guarding an open way from wherever it is that they're from here. Is it something that this portal or whatever that appeared, is this something that just happens at particular times and they would come through to make sure nobody goes through, or is it something that would be activated on their side?
That's a great question, Alex. I mean, I'll defer a little on ferry roads. So is this something that would ever just be like they have to protect it? It just happens, or is it always intentional?
Maybe we should ask Paula.
Now we can hear you.
Ferry
roads are typically persistent.
Okay. Yeah, I'll hear that. Say, well, this effect, whatever it is, it something about it is intentional. Be it an illusion that's covering something that's always there, or something that is being activated.
If you ask Polith about it, she would just tell you that she hasn't really been able to figure out exactly. It always does seem that it would be like after midnight that this thing would appear, but not predictable what nights. Like her theory was her running theory, I think, was that it had something to do with moon cycles, but she hadn't been able to truly figure that out.
And she did say that she thought that she did see the creature coming and going from it.
Yes, she has said that she has seen.
And we trust her. So
yes, and Polith,
we definitely don't trust these elves.
I trust them more than the elves, for sure.
So I would ask Polith if this appears to be the same portal that she has seen the thing come in and out.
Yeah.
Or does this appear to be something different?
She says that this is the exact same spot. This is the same portal, although she hasn't seen elves guarding it.
First time she's seen the guards.
She's seen goat folk wandering about or posting up around this spot, but not these elves.
Yeah, and I don't.
One thing is for sure, they're not going to just let us walk through. So if we want to get in, we are going to have to sneak in, or we're going to have to slay them without alerting everybody inside.
Oh, brother. We wait here for the creature to emerge.
We could, but it will have, it will have the guards with it. Perhaps we would have to wait for the creature and then track it to try to overwhelm it.
Yes.
They also might not let the creature through with us here. They're aware of our presence. If they are,
we leave. Don't have to leave far. I don't know. Do you think they would? They don't. I mean, how did you think they felt about even being worried about you being there?
I felt a strong sense of animosity, something very wrong. I think that and it's just a suspicion, but if what I think might be going on has happened, if the prince has been corrupted by the Naglord or some other context, that they would be willing to do us all harm. They have no love for you, that's for sure.
Me?
No, not you specifically.
Oh.
You.
Mortals,
Mortals.
Oh.
By the way, are you a mortal? I'm just fascinated by this Grimalkin. What are you?
No. No, I'm from Catland in the Fae.
So are Grimalkin full Fae or demi Fae?
I think they're full Fae. Yeah.
Full Fae? Okay. Never mind. Okay.
Oh. I'm just like you, big guy, except, smaller.
So I'm going to mark down a turn.
Our bless is running out.
Yep.
Yeah, no, we need to do something here. They're not going to let us walk through then, is what you're saying.
They're definitely not going to let us walk through. We have two choices at this point. Yeah, if we want to go in, we're going to have to, either create a distraction, sneak in, or we're going to have to engage them. Or we can wait for the creature to come out, which I thought that's not a bad plan, and track it. Now the guards may go with it or something. We may have to engage that creature and elves. We may want to plan for that possibility.
My concern is they may let us in and then close around us. So
I definitely felt like they wanted to do that to you. They were a little too inviting.
Is this type of attire that they're wearing common? I find it odd that Polith here has stated that she has seen goat folk meandering around this portal. You have these elves now that are stepping through that have goat ram horns, helmets, and things of that nature. Is it possible that there is some connection between this elven clan, this new Prince Ashhart, and the goat folk Malbleet?
Is Polith with us?
She is, unless you...
Okay.
Yeah.
Polith, Thomas brings up an interesting point. When you say you saw goat folk, how certain are you that you saw goat folk and not people with goat horns on their heads?
She would probably waffle a little bit, and she'd say the only time that she's ever seen them was at night, and she's more or less doesn't have infravision and things like that. So she will admit that it is possible that she saw something that she didn't understand, but she would be adamant that what she saw was bigger than them.
Okay. Could be connections. I would think that the Bragel may be put off by people wearing goat whole skulls, but
yeah,
maybe not.
Those are Bregels. and not goat helmets? That's what I'm
Mm.
concerned about right now. A little.
Yeah, that's a good question. So, did they look like they might be Breggle skulls, not goat skulls?
No, they do look more like kind of like ram helms.
Rams. Okay, got it.
Well, we got to do something. We got to
Yeah.
decide now.
Yeah. So I think we go inside. I think we approach them, say we want to inspect. We understand that we may be ambushed, but we go in.
No, we've got 2 trackers. We could wait. Got at least 2. Maybe Fluffy,
Yes.
Tossy,
I
Cat
think
could do a distraction.
I can do things.
Do we? So we're deciding we want to go in. So if we're going in, is that what we're saying, or we're waiting for it to come out?
I think my concern is this. I think one of 2 things will happen. Either they won't let the creature out knowing that we're hunting it, or they'll ambush us with their strongest force possible.
Do they know we're in us? I mean,
Yes.
you guys win.
Sorry. I mean, we're close enough. I mean, sure, right? I don't know. Maybe they don't know
Yeah.
how many is us, but
I mean, we literally walked up and said hello. I think we can assume
We
they know we're
did.
here.
yeah.
I think in the interest of time, I'm going to force you for a decision at this point. So,
Yep.
plan is to move forward and approach and try to gain access.
Let's vote. I vote we go forward and try to gain access.
I vote we track.
I'm more on the tracking side, I think.
The track.
Okay. Let's track.
For what it's worth, the hirelings are going to bring up their contract with you at this point because they're like, we thought we were out here to hunt a unicorn. Like, they'll just like kind of remind you that they will be charging you like per day, going forward. So,
Yeah.
So you guys are withdrawing into the woods to watch the mound in hopes that the unicorn will emerge. Is that what the plan is? Okay. Sounds good.
During that time, could I at least just explain, or maybe what the Friar was thinking as far as like battle strategy, as far as pretty much, unless he would ask, he'd say, unless our friend here, and he would look, I have to remember your name. Topsy. I guess that's the easiest way to remember. Unless Topsy can see. Can you see in, do you have that sense that I sense to see in the dark and whatnot? Darkness?
Well, I know some people who can do that. I'm not one of them, though.
Okay. Well, either way, it sounds what I've been thinking about this. And I think, well, Silva, you are going to have to be the beacon for everyone. And all of you that able must surround this creature while I cast this spell to get rid of the darkness it holds. Otherwise, if it charges at me again, we all will be lost.
Agreed, but somebody needs to stay back with you. Somebody does.
I
How
will
about
guard
you?
my brother.
Oh, okay. That's good. Yeah, brother. Yeah, you. Good.
I will guard my brother. No one will touch you.
Okay. Seems like still kind of like, from the last encounter. Sure. It'd be good. It's funny because I see that and you're wearing that shirt and all I see is like skin.
You have a nice, loving, caring brother. Look out for you.
You're laughing too loud.
All right, so you guys go and you are going to hope for the unicorn to emerge.
I don't know how I ended up being.
I think maybe we wait a little while, right? We don't want to. We don't want to go into another day, right, to pay these guys necessarily.
No.
I think we put a time limit on it. We wait X amount of rounds. If nothing happens, we engage and figure out a plan and try to go in.
Okay, so an hour passes and nothing has happened. The guards are still there. The bless is expired now, and it would be you'd be you guys are exhausted at this point. You probably prepped a little bit, like you got up later in the day because you knew that you had to wait till this moment, but it's still like, just being out in the twilight like this, it's like 1:30 in the morning.
I think if we keep waiting, we're gonna fall asleep. And probably Geoffrey would be during that hour, like kind of drawing out plans in the dirt. Like, okay, if we position some people to flank here and come up behind, and our elf friend goes up and talks with them, maybe we can distract them and either try to get a jump on them from on top of the barrow or something to tie them up in ropes or something, or just engage in a fight to take these guards out. and then kind of see what everybody thinks of all the different options that he's kind of laying out. Like, what do you guys think? Or do we try to distract them and get them away from the door while a group sneaks in?
I'm all for distraction and getting them away from the door. Either way, if we can get them away from the door, and then we fall on back on plan C and D, because this is plan B.
Yeah.
My take on it is we have Paulith's word that she has seen this portal open before and the thing emerged. That there are 4 elves at this point is kind of irrelevant one way or the other. This is where this thing has come from. So I would vote for action against them.
Oh, I always love walking into the beast lair, so let's go.
The other thing to keep in mind is that Paulus tells you that this does not happen every night. So
Yeah, we gotta go.
Moon things.
Yep.
I think Geoffrey is gonna like talk to a couple of the mercenaries, right? And he's gonna propose maybe him and a group of the more stalwart ones kind of try to sneak around and up on top of the barrel to get the jump on the guards, while maybe our elf friend walks back up and is like, "Hey, I thought about it and I want to go home."
Yeah, that's exactly what we're gonna do.
All right. So are you good with just moving right into like a combat scenario, and we will see if you get the jump on them?
Yep.
Sure.
All right. Geoffrey, let's have you be the caller. Roll me a d6.
Yeah,
If you
D6.
roll a 1 or a 2, then you will get the surprise on them.
Okay. It's a 5. Sorry, guys.
Okay. So roll it again.
on.
We'll just roll into initiative. They spot you sneaking up on them, and they arm them. They get ready. I rolled a
3.
1. So you guys get to go first. So let's just go through and get movement from everybody. So I'm going to say that Paulith probably is not going to get involved in this. She'll be like away from it and everything. As for the others, the goat folk, the thief, and the fighter and the human fighter will go with you, Geoffrey, to try to get the jump on them. The human hunter will be back a ways, to try to be shooting from range, and our goat folk magic user will be probably hanging back for the moment. So that's where they will be positioned. Let's go through and see. Thomas, where would you be at?
I would be moving up, but I will probably, depending on how far it is, I would say I would get whatever movement I can and sling from range and probably engage them next round. I'm just assuming that we're far enough away that I wouldn't be able to run up and attack them. So
Yeah,
I will ranged this time.
sounds good. Joffrey's up on top of the mound, jumping down to get into melee. How about Lillibeth?
Lillibeth is actually pulling out the bronze sword and flanking the other hunter. So the hunter's back and
Yes.
and as for ranged, right? I'm just pulling out the bronze sword because I'm thinking anything by Kragel's hand might be helpful in this situation.
Okay, so you're hanging back in the
I'm
rear.
hanging back a little bit yet. I want to see what's going to happen first.
Okay, sounds good. Friar Fitzpatrick.
I am gonna move up with the group that is a ways back, and maybe with Thomas, and get ready to sling.
Okay. How about Silver?
So I imagine I was close. So as soon as I see that they get spotted, I'm just gonna charge in and try to get on one of the guards.
Sounds good. So you'll be in the melee
Yeah.
and Topsy.
I'd probably be in the mercenary group as well with Geoffrey, so I'd be going up to melee.
Okay, sounds good. So everybody moves into position. You guys jump down. Those of you in melee, you can kind of tell me. There's 2 on the left and 2 on the right. So like kind of wherever you want to be in terms of that fray. But we'll move into the ranged folk first. So I will do some rolls here. We've got a hunter who has a short bow in hand, and they roll a 5, so they will miss. Let's go with who else had ranged. I think Friar Fitzpatrick had a sling stone, and Thomas had a sling stone. So the 2 of you can go ahead.
I got 7.
Okay,
So.
that one will miss.
14.
14 probably is good. Let's see.
I'll be right back, Allie.
Sounds good. Let's see. 14 is what you needed.
Oh, great.
3 points of bludgeoning damage, and then we'll say that it will be to the one furthest to the left.
Sounds good. 3 points to him. Stone kind of knocks at the side of his head, and you see like his helmet kind of gets turned a bit, and so he's fumbling, stumbling around a little bit. We'll move into the melee folk. So we'll do my NPCs here first. Yeah, we had Thomas went. Okay. So Beryl, the goat folk thief, will try to get the jump. Who rolls a nat 1, so that's not going to be a no good. And then Shank Wolder with his longsword rolls an 11. That'll miss. So other melee, let's go. We have a reroll that just came in from Galaxian. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Let's start with Topsy.
I'd probably take the other one that's not being engaged by Shank and Beryl, and I'll pull out my short sword and just give him a little stab right in the knee. I rolled an 18
That will hit.
for big damage of 3 points.
All right. We will say this is the other one on the left. So the two on the left have both been damaged. Let's go to Silver.
I was also going after the closer one on the left. So the one that Topsy just stabbed. And here we go.
That's a hit.
Oh, nice.
And 8 points of damage.
So that one goes down.
Yeah, okay.
So big swing with your two-handed sword, and you fell that elf. So there's 3 left.
Yeah, I lop his head off, and as his head is flying off, I'm just looking at the helmet. That's all.
See, Sir Geoffrey.
All right. I guess I will go with the other, or I guess there's one on the right side that wasn't attacked, I guess. Whichever one wasn't.
The 2 on the right have not been damaged yet.
Okay, yeah. So I'll go on, I guess, whatever one on the right that looks the biggest and strongest.
Sounds good. Maybe you'll go and talk to the spokesperson of the group.
It's a 10.
The 10 will miss. So I think that's everybody. And then the elves will take their turn. So elf on the left, wielding his spear, is going to try... he's going to swing around and try to take an attack on this goat folk thief that just tried to backstab him, and will miss. The other 2 are going to try... on the right-hand side, are going to try to basically tag team Sir Geoffrey. They're going to flank you. An 18 plus to hit, a 20 to hit. And that will be for 5 points of damage to Sir Geoffrey.
Right.
Second attack is also going to hit, and that will be 3 points of damage.
Okay.
That brings us to needing to roll some initiative. So, Sir Geoffrey, if you want to take that up.
All right. Oh, wait, that's a D6, isn't it? I'm rolling a D20 here. A 5.
All right, you guys are up first. So anyone want to reposition themselves or move?
I'm going to move. Where am I in relationship to where Sir Geoffrey is right now?
So if you were hanging back by the hunter, you'd be like 50 feet away.
Okay. And how close am I to the people on the left? Further or closer?
Just in general, like 50 feet from the melee, I would say.
Okay, so then I'm going to go ahead and move up into as far as I can get,
Okay.
which is
probably
40.
40? Yeah, so you
Yeah.
get almost there. And we got...
I'm going to see Geoffrey get tag teamed, and I'm going to turn around and head over to the closest one on the right.
Moving over to the right. Okay.
I would also move probably to assist the one that's being harassed by the mercenaries.
Okay, the one on the left that's still up. And we got player reroll from Galaxian. Thank you, Galaxian. You guys got 2 rerolls in the pot. All right, let's do some ranged. We'll have my NPCs go first. So we've got the human hunter.
I was moving up to engage.
Okay, sounds good. Hunter misses. Let's see, Friar Fitzpatrick ranged.
Sure. I'm going to go after one of the ones, the one that hit my... Well, they both hit my brother. The first one on the right, since the other one is kind of surrounded by mercenaries already. It would be a 14, because it's a +1.
That'll hit.
All right, 1 point of damage.
Right. Again, you kind of stone strikes at the helm and bends it, mars it a bit. Any other ranged attacks? Otherwise, we'll move into our melee folks. So we'll do the NPCs first. So I'm going to say we've got Shank and Barrel are both trying to strike at this one. So we'll have our thief try to get a backstab in. That one will miss. Shank will attack with his longsword, and he will miss. You get what you pay for with higher legs. They got no bonuses. It's a straight roll for them. Topsy, your go.
Very true on that hireling part. All straight rolls. I'll be attacking the same one as the other two were swinging at. 1.
Oh,
We have reroll.
You have a reroll.
Reroll.
We got
Well,
rerolls.
actually, specifically said only level 1 characters.
Yeah.
Only level 1 characters.
Yeah, let's get that one out of the
Geoffrey
way.
Can't get it.
Oh,
You got it. You get what you pay for, right?
Silver.
All right, I'm hitting the one that I mentioned earlier and also missing.
And Geoffrey.
All right, I'm going for the one that smacked me for that big 8 hit points. 15?
15 hits.
All right.
big damage. Big damage.
10.
Oh,
That one goes down. 2 left.
Even if I roll a 1 with Searchide Sword, it's still like 3 points of damage. Or 4, because
Okay.
I have a +1 strength, so that's pretty awesome.
All right.
Was I up on him yet, or does that be next round?
I guess it depends on how far away you were when you started, because you were hitting with the sling.
I was moving up as far as I could, and while I was moving, I was slinging in order to engage
Oh, I got
them.
you. You were moving and slinging. Yeah, you'd be up in front then.
Okay. Beyond one of the ones on the right. 16.
16 will hit.
4 points with a silvered sword.
Sounds
know if that-
good. Pure iron would do a little extra. I think that's everyone for melee, right? Okay. So I'll have them do a morale check maybe on the next one. But for now, the guy on the left he's still gonna try to hit that thief, and he hits an 18 to hit, and you just see skewers that goat folk right through the chest and almost like pins them up against the earth of the mound, and then just pulls the spear back to kind of deflect one of the swings from Topsy coming at him. So sorry, Barrel. She
No
goes
more Barrel.
down. The one on the right is going to has Sir Geoffrey kind of on the rope, so he's going to try again. That would be a 10 to hit, which will miss. All right, initiative.
All right. DC.
Declare actions or any beforehand, right?
Any spells or anything, right?
Yeah. I want to attempt to move around the guy to block the door. I don't want these guys getting away.
Sounds good.
Maneuver myself that direction and attack.
5.
Well, I was continuing to move forward, so I should be there.
Oh, this is fun. My computer is kind of locked up, but apparently you guys could still hear me and everything like that, so
yeah.
Oh, wow.
I think I know why. There we go. Now I'm good.
Okay, cool.
All right, you rolled a 5. You said
Mhm.
I rolled a 2, so you guys are up first. So, Thomas had some movement.
Me too.
Try to block the doorway. Lillibeth, are you gonna go for There's 2 left. There's one on the left, one on the right. They're both injured.
I don't there's a lot of people on the right, and I don't know how many people are on the left, and the guy on the left just killed somebody. So I'll go ahead and try and hit the guy on the left.
Okay, sounds good. Other movements or adjustments?
Was the one that I was attacking killed, or was the other one? Or does it matter?
I think the one that you were attacking was killed by Geoffrey.
All right, I'll join Lillibeth then.
Okay, moving over to kind of reinforce the left side.
Yep.
All right, that sounds good. Ranged attacks. So my hunter will try again. He's going to try to shoot that one on the left, and he gets a 19. A bow does 1d6. He does 2 points of damage to that one. It's still up. I think that's it for ranged, right? Everyone. Well, Friar
Friar?
Fitzpatrick, I guess, has a sling.
I think I'll be going for the guy on the left that's still up.
All right.
16, that'll hit. Doing well. And 4 points.
4 points. He is still up, but
Thought you had him, brother.
this time the stone strikes him like square in the face, and there's like almost instantly like blood like it pops like a blood vessel in his eye, and there's just blood just pouring down the left side of his face. He's that beautiful visage of the faerie is barely visible through this gore.
Got a ways to go to be as ugly as Silver, though.
Well, yeah, it's a spectrum.
Hey,
It's a spectrum of fairy prince to Silver. All right, let's move into some melee. So we'll have the NPCs here go. We've got Shank is attacking the one on the left. He will miss. All right, let's start with Thomas.
All right. Yeah,
Although, I guess you weren't exactly in melee, you were more or less blocking the doorway, is that right?
I had engaged in melee before, but I wanted to this round continue to move around to block any escape that they might want to do. I mean, if that's my action, is that movement and basically being ready to attack if they move this way, I think probably would be fair.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll say like you're basically standing right there in that entranceway, and like your position right now would prevent anyone from getting through you.
Right. And I do want to look through the doorway and make sure that there's not more of these yahoos coming. So. Yeah,
you look back and you look down into the passageway, and you don't see, you can see the flickering of that fairy light, but you don't see any shadows. There doesn't seem to be any movement stirring, so that is reassuring. Let's go to Lillibeth.
Okay.
So you're over on the one that's looking particularly nasty on the left.
So I'm going to grimace at him with my own greatly disfigured face and say, "Welcome to the club," and then try and hit him.
And that will hit.
With a club. Say welcome to the club and hit him with a club.
Nope, I hit him with a sword. And so
you skewer him with the blade from the ancient times of Harkthold, the goat folk, and he goes down as your sword slides right into his chest, and he drops down right next to the goat folk, visage on his face. Which leads us over, I think the only other person at this point that's in melee would be Sir Geoffrey, dealing with that final elf.
I rolled a natural one.
Natural one. There are 2 rerolls if you want to.
Reroll. Yeah, let's do that. That 2 and that 20.
Okay, so what is maximum damage for you?
8 plus 3, 11.
11 points. So go ahead and describe how you kill the last remaining elf.
I think I'm going to do like a Ginsu slice and dice, where I kind of like maybe go to do like a big swing to kind of cut through this way, and then do another one like oh, that was cool, and like accidentally slice him again up top second. Like, so he's kind of in 3 pieces.
Sounds good. So you are victorious in this fight. And again, just for time's sake, we're gonna gloss over this. You check them for treasure and things like that. They've got their mundane equipment. Take a breather. But the passageway is open.
Alex.
Yes.
Just to keep in character with this, I will move over and check the thief guy on the ground and make it look like I'm like checking to make sure that he's alive, and I'm gonna take his belt pouch.
Yeah. We will say basically he's got a belt pouch that has 43 gold.
Okay.
A little bit of that payment, and then a little bit of whatever he was carrying. So.
All right.
I will update your sheet.
I didn't want anybody to really see that I did that, so I don't know if there's a...
We turned a blind eye, regardless.
Yeah.
Quick question. First of all, Geoffrey, how are you feeling?
I mean, I'm a little worse for the wear for me, but I would say that I probably have still more, hit points or whatever than probably some of our first level friends. So I'm less than half, but I've still got like 5 hit points. How about
I
that?
think it might be best that, I don't know. I feel like it might be best that I pump you back up either way.
Yeah, I was gonna recommend that.
Mm-hmm. So he'll pray to Saint Lillibeth. He'll ask you to pray along with him, and he'll cure light wounds on you.
what did Saint
All right.
Lillibeth do anyway?
Oh,
What does your light wounds give?
1d6. I'll give you the answer. It's 1d6 plus 1. So you have 6 hit points back.
Ooh.
Nice.
Nice.
Mm.
Awesome.
And I will one last thing on that too, because I'm kind of taking stock situation sake. Well, Friar, I know it's not a blessing or anything, but I do have something for you that I think it's important that you keep up and stay on your feet. And I'll pull out the scroll of shield, and I will cast shield on the Friar.
Nice.
So your AC is now 17 against arrows and 15 against other attacks. It lasts for 2 turns.
Thank you, my friend.
And actually, now that I say that, 2 turns, or is that rounds? Shit. Actually, that would make sense then, because 2 turns is the short version, right?
It'd be 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Oh, that'd be 20 minutes? Yeah, that's what I want then. Yep.
Sounds good. So you do that and push on through the passageway and start to take stock of this mound. So now everybody can see the map, hopefully. And you've got a little token there that'll represent just the group's movement. So you're standing in a stone-lined hallway, and it diverges both to the left and the right at the end here. Grass and night-blooming flowers grow in mossy spaces between the flagstone, and you can see a pair of burning brands that is casting green light, and it gives this whole place sort of otherworldly illumination. And hanging from the wall at the end of the passage here, you see that tapestry that depicts a regal-looking, bearded elf dressed in robes of sable and silver. He sits upon a throne carved of wood, and there is a wicked-looking skull that adorns the throne, like a stag skull. As you're moving ahead here, you can see, like, throughout the hallway, there are torches placed maybe every 30 feet or so that have this green fairy light, this flame on their ends.
Yeah, I just think we time is of the essence. I think we just keep going. So, right?
Sure. Let's do it.
And Alex, I think for the sake of time, as always, we're being cautious as we're moving, but we're, moving with intent.
What's your listen check?
Yep. My listen check is I think it's 2.
2. Okay.
Yeah, 2.
Okay. There's a bit of motion and kind of commotion happening on the other side of this door, but you're just not able to discern, like, maybe what it might be.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely it's not an occupied room.
Got it. Maybe we go the other way first, or we take a chance to surprise him.
One of the things I would say is maybe there's a lingering scent of, like, food cooking.
Oh, yeah.
We'll go the other way.
Kitchen.
Yeah, so let's go down this way.
We don't need to take out Cookie necessarily.
Yeah, it's where the creature is making a sandwich.
His underpants.
He's already in the dark.
On the other side of this door, if you stop Silver to take a listen, you will hear conversation happening in High Elvish. It's not particularly interesting conversation, but kind of the sort of parlor chatter over, like, a game of cards or something. Just like, it sounds like maybe that's actually what's happening, is maybe some gambling, because you hear people raising bets and things like that.
I will say it does make me feel nervous going further, this many people behind us, but I think we need to.
Where there's gambling, there's money.
That's true. There's also shouting and yelling where they're stabbing.
It will definitely attract attention. We may be able to get in and get out without attracting attention. Possibly.
We're gonna fight a corrupted unicorn. Really?
Well, I mean,
we
don't know where this is going to lead us. We don't.
That's true.
I'm just saying it's possible. So we have that option open to us. But you know me, I'm all for a fight.
So a couple of points of clarification that I'm just thinking about right now. I think Paulith will elect to stay outside and keep eyes on things. What about the dog? What about Friar, your hound?
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the dog.
Yeah.
I'd probably say that the hound would probably stay with Paul.
Okay.
I don't think we'll bring the hound in here.
So the girl and her dog and your dog are gonna watch the mound as you're.
But Apu's coming with.
Yeah, he's like always in the pack, so I kind of always assume he's hanging out with you. Sounds good. Okay, so the plan here is to leave this door alone and just bypass it and continue forward.
Yeah, I think for now. Yeah. Any strong objections?
No, I think
Too late now.
I think as you get to this point, this will be 1 turn has passed.
Okay. Yeah, listen, check at this door too. Take a listen.
Okay. On the other side of this door, silent.
Do we want to? Yeah. I think we check it.
Is the door open?
Door is open. And inside you can see it almost looks like a hoarder's vault. Like it is very haphazard, not really any kind of organization to the things that are in here. Air in the room is very stale, and it's dark, and has kind of the smell of an old musty attic or something like that. Just like dust particles that just linger and have been closed up in here. Very eclectic mix of items that you see piled up about the chamber. Hats, satchels, stray pieces of armor, farmer's tools. There's an errant shield in here. There's bottles that either seem empty or have like rotten bits of food in them. Any object that you can think that probably lines the inside of a peasant's home is probably in here.
Yeah. So I was thinking,
Now we know what they've done with the stuff.
but why? I guess it's no matter. We're here to hunt. Let's keep going.
Keep going. Do we go continue on straight, or are we making the curve around here?
Friar Fitzpatrick, before you go any further, why don't you roll a d6 and tell me what you get?
3.
You see something as you're maybe open this up and think it's not worth checking out, but you see something that does seem notable that there's a journal that's maybe poking out from some of the trash, and it has the symbol of the one true God on it.
I might, I'll kind of just alert the others that I see something. Oh, what's this? I'll go and try to grab it.
And you pick it up, taking a look at it. It would appear to be the musings and reflections of a priest. Maybe I would call him a missionary of the one true God. His name is Oldor the Vicar. And it would appear that this journal is his reflections of entering the land of faerie in hopes of converting fae folk.
He's gonna be like, even he'll be like, oh no.
It's dated like 200 years in the past. Like this is probably someone that is no longer alive or around. But it is in impeccable condition. You know, you may not be stopping to take a deep read into this, but I'm going to give you the description of what it says now, just for your purposes. We could expand upon it later, but basically, Oldor's journey to faerie to convert the denizens of Elfland or faerie to the one true God is based on his belief that faerie creatures don't have a soul. And his speculation is that fairies endure kind of a hellish existence after death. And so he was, you know, traveling to faerie he had a deep love and care for faerie. And so he believed that they were in torment if they ever did die or collapse in battle. And so his sense was that if they could be, you know, joined in the faith of the one true God, that they would then gain a seat in heaven and be able to like enjoy the same paradise that his faithful enjoy. There is also some bits in here about the prince who is 7.
Oh, okay.
So
I'll read these aloud.
presumably he went to Lampwrack at some point. So the prince who is 7 is a very unique faerie. He possesses 7 identical forms with 7 personalities, but they all seemingly are of one consciousness and shared memories. And he states that while most of the forms are jovial, flamboyant, self-indulgent, carefree, there is one that is very serious and withdrawn. And his experiences with them is that it almost seems that the one form takes and shoulders all of the weight of rulership while enjoying his kin to be able to take part and enjoy the pleasures that he denied himself, that one form. So
I would share that with the group. I'm sure you already know, Silva, but this is quite interesting.
What's the name of the serious one? Do I know that one?
They don't really have unique names. They like kind of all they always refer to themselves as the prince who is 7. So
yeah,
it's very, very peculiar that they named someone here in the mound.
Yeah. Makes sense. So, well, serious one is always my favorite, actually.
Really?
Yeah. But,
Interesting we would find this here, though. It does point to the idea that perhaps there is a faerie road found here.
Mm-hmm.
With that, shall we?
Well, just one thought. It seems really odd that the prince was in Lampwrack too, or Lampwrack too.
Well, Lampwrack is the realm of the prince.
But isn't it destroyed now? Isn't that why you're here?
Well, my home, the city I lived in, the Heart, was under siege, attacked.
Okay.
I left. I don't know what happened to the prince or to the rest of Lampwrack, but he could have been harmed. But it sounds like something more sinister has happened.
Yes.
Well, what do you think would happen if, let's say, you, Friar, if you blessed an elven prince or tried to, or was successful without him knowing about it?
Yes.
I mean,
as in
genuinely blessed him and welcomed him or tried to into the fold of the one true God. I mean, I
Hey.
certainly would not want you to sneak up on me and do the same thing that
Hey.
you ask.
Well, most of the time. I'm sorry about earlier, but I don't know. That's not a question for me. I feel I don't know. I feel me personally. I don't have. Who am I to tell them what to think? I understand that. I understand his point of going and doing these things, but I don't know if I could. I mean, Silva's here, right? And
Right.
I don't know. I don't know. I thought I
Get
did.
corrupted.
Are you saying that the unintended consequence of converting a elf to the one true God could possibly be corruption?
No, I would hope not. I don't think so. I'm sure there are elvish believers of the one true God. Silva?
There are very diverse beliefs, right, Topsy?
You got that right.
Are you a believer, Topsy?
Of what?
The one true. You know, look, we should probably carry on.
So maybe to like exemplify like what it would be like for someone from faerie to follow and believe in the one true God, I'll share this personal story. When I studied abroad in China, I met someone who was Mormon, like a Chinese person who was Mormon. So it's possible. Although I had to ask him, like my follow-up question was, have you been to the US before? And he said, yeah. And I'm like, where did you study? You studied abroad. I sure did. Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, wow. And you brought that back with you. Interesting.
Wow.
That's cool. Yeah, so it's certainly possible. I'm being polite though. I've never met anyone who's
Worship the one true God.
Yeah, it would be that rare, probably. So.
But yeah, I think we go this way. This feels more good to me.
Let's do it.
All right. So
We're following the ferry because I'm pretty sure.
I missed the ping. Was it over this way?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So following that path, you will see off to the left that there are two doors down that illuminated hallway. One over here, and
So
then
many doors.
progressing right there.
Yeah, this
These
door is
double
interesting to
doors
me.
would look different because there are a pair of armed guards that stand beside.
Real different.
Now, let me ask you. Did we just like walk up, basically, and the guards were like, "Oh, hey," or are we aware of them before they're aware of us?
So, and you could tell me if this is wrong, but I think you were hustling a bit, right? Like,
Yeah, I think so.
We were being cautious, but we were moving with intent. Yeah.
so I think you both spot each other. There isn't any sudden movements on their part. Like they are sentries and they're guarding this door. So there are two guards that are dressed in a similar manner as the ones that were outside, but there is a third figure that is standing in front of the doors who looks more maybe like a herald, or they are not armed. They are wearing a robe, elf, wearing a robe of deep blue and bearing a long staff that resembles a broken tree branch.
It's not good.
Take him, cover his mouth.
And he just kind of like peers out and looks at you all and he says, "Who are you to be wandering through these hollowed halls of our Prince Ashheart?"
Well, I'll say I am an exile from Lampwrack. I was a follower of the prince who was 7, and I have heard of this as possibly a way home. So I've come to find passage. I'm just like, eyeing Geoffrey. My hired mercenaries have been helping me.
Indeed. And he looks around at the others of you and he says, so, you are looking to have audience with his lordship. That can be arranged. He looks to his left and he looks to his right. Please inform the prince that we have visitors. And the two guards, they bow and they make their way through those doors and close them behind them. So now you're just with this one individual.
I've never met a prince before. This is exciting.
Oh, very.
Oh man, I think, are we doing this then? Are we gonna wait and try to see the prince, or are we gonna
No, Prince. And he might understand us, so, hi.
The herald. Oh, well, first of all, is there anything immediately that any of you do as the guards, withdraw?
I look around, but I look back at the exit.
So, basically, I think the shield is probably gone at this point. Yeah. So, as the guards withdraw, this elf almost looks pleadingly at you, Silver, and kind of gets in close and is looking at you, and he says, you have not turned yet, have you? He's looking in your eyes. No, you are not corrupted yet. You must help us. Something terrible has happened to the prince.
Go on.
It is the influence of the Nag Lord. It has afflicted many of our people. It has gotten to this aspect of the prince. It has begun calling itself Prince Ashheart. It has been ordering us to use this place to travel to the mortal realm, causing all sorts of chaos throughout this area. We've been here for many moons now. Something is wrong with him. Please.
I suspected as much, and I feel we don't have much time, since these guards are surely going to speak to him, and I'm sure they'll understand if I'm in exile that I'm not one of you. So I think.
I'm sorry.
No, yeah. Is the throne behind the doors?
Yes, I am the herald. They will be waiting for me to announce you.
Good. Well, we originally had come here to hunt a beast, a wicked thing. I'm going to assume that something that Prince Ashheart is unleashing on the mortals?
Yes, it is here. One of the Nag Lord's pets. A unicorn that was captured long ago by one of his hunters, Prince Ashheart's hunters, and corrupted. The same corruption that has taken over Harkthold, our home.
Do you have any idea, short of killing the prince, what we can do?
I was hoping that you might have a way or a thought of dealing with this without killing him, but maybe that's the only way.
What about your spell, brother? Could it clean the corruption from the prince, you think?
I would hope so. I believe it could. Consecrate, I know that this blessed, but I've used it. I would need a day.
This corruption that you speak of, was it associated with the presentation of any gift? Or is there something that is causing this, that is here, that can be removed or destroyed? Perhaps the beast itself?
Maybe. I think it runs deeper than some source. I think it is directly tied to the Nag Lord.
Well,
you say you need time?
Yes.
Perhaps you can treat with him, get him to allow you to be here as guests, if that is what it is. I really don't know. His nature has become quite chaotic as of late. I don't know how he will react or, receive you.
Are there? I know. I've heard there are the other personalities. Are they still there at all?
I have not been to Harkthold since its fall. I don't know any other elves that are uncorrupted. I'm the only one here. I've been just playing along.
Is it possible that others like you, that they're playing along?
Could be. You can usually tell by staring into their eyes. There's a cloudiness there. There's a shadow that glamours cannot hide. There's something a little bit off about you, friend, but I do not see that shadow.
Can you look at the cat, too, please? Sorry.
Yeah, let's check Topsy. Make sure Topsy's not corrupted.
Checks Topsy out. He's fine.
He's fine.
She's fine.
Yeah, as he bends over to look, she just raises her hand and just says, "Cookie?"
None for me now.
Where is the beast housed, stabled?
You kind of point to the passage that you just came from and say, if you continue north from there...
Damn it.
He has a den up that way.
Well, I think if we are able to remove this corruption, then we will have many allies against this beast. And I don't know. I believe in the one true God and this power that is granted us, but I don't know if it's enough.
Harold, do you think if we slay the beast that would in any way weaken the hold here? Should we, we had come here to kill it, but obviously there's a bigger problem. Is it just a tool? Is it just a creature that they use they'll easily replace, or is it any kind of source of genuine power for this incursion?
I believe it is more akin to a tool. It seems to be the main implement of terror that Prince Ashheart has ordered to be delivered unto the people here. I'm not aware that it is the source of any kind of greater power, but I can tell you that we do not emerge from the mound. It is the only thing that leaves here.
And I guess that's what I'm getting at, is not necessarily would it resolve your corruption, but would it maybe weaken the plan, right? If we took this beast out, is it easily replaceable, do you think? Or is it...
No. A unicorn is, even in our lands, a rare occurrence. To find another would be a...
Right. Okay.
So we could try to go slay the unicorn, but we do know that the prince knows we're here, so there could probably be people coming to reinforce, on the way. The other option we have is to go in and amuse or beguile the prince and try to get more time and try to be around for a minute so that we can figure out how to remove the corruption. Geoffrey's kind of idea, that this guy was saying that he was chaotic. Perhaps we could take an inspiration from this book we found and say, okay, we're actually here to convert you to the one true God. We're missionaries. We're not here to harm or whatever. And maybe that would amuse him. We could try to fuck with him to keep us around a little bit. I don't know.
I was also thinking,
just run and go kill the damn thing.
It sounds like you want to put a bigger target on our back. Being Mordo.
Well, I mean, he's coming. He's going to be coming for us anyway. The only reason I'm saying that is because this guy says, oh, he's become chaotic. I don't know what he's going to do. He's wacky. I'm thinking like Joker level out there. Maybe this would just amuse him to want to keep us around like a court jester or something. Other than that, he's just going to kill us. He's got no reason. It's just going to be slay.
I could treat with him while you slay the beasts and escape.
Okay. Well, that would leave you alone with a chaotic.
But I think being an elf, I have a better chance. Also, and I'm going to try to glamour my eyes to be foggy the same way that the other eyes are. I might be able to convince him I belong and have cover. But I think if I bring you in that room, there's a very high chance that you're not going to be allowed to leave without fighting our way out. So,
I mean, I'm pretty sure these guards are going to let him know that there's an elf with a bunch of humans here. And if
True.
the elf walks in with the herald, they're going to be like, where's your human friends?
And friend, you are the key to us defeating that beast. Anyway, otherwise...
So Friar, you're the key. You have the ability to dispel its darkness. But yes, you're probably right that it wouldn't buy us much time.
So, okay, we haven't talked about this. There's a crucial error that we made in the session about Silver's infravision. Dolmenwood elves don't have infravision.
Oh no!
However, I think it's canon that Silver had infravision, and we're going to say that the reason that Silver had infravision is because of the sword.
Okay, that works.
That works for everyone. That's our fix to that.
things.
But someone on YouTube had pointed that out, and I was like, "Shit, you're right. The Dolmenwood elves don't have infravision."
Oh, dang.
So
do the regular
our
elves do it, or did we just take that from?
Yeah, the regular OSC elves, I'm fairly certain do. But
Yeah.
So we just kind of assumed, probably.
I that was my assumption. Yeah. So, but that's our fix. So that changes the elements of this a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Because you could give your sword to someone else to get that benefit.
That does. Yeah. That's interesting. Oh man. I feel bad now. Okay. Yeah, so I could say that. And I could say normally I don't have normal elves do have infravision. By the way, the base elves do. That's what it was. So I could lend you Alfham. It allowed me to see the beast. And what I could say is, maybe with the Herald's help, that we sequestered you. You're not worthy to see the prince. You're mortals.
That makes sense.
Except for you, Topsy.
the Herald would even be willing to go in on a lie. There is a prison. Like, you could say, we've sent them to their holding cells for now. You know, this one brought them here. You know, whatever lie you want to conjure up, he's willing to go along with whatever you say.
So uncomfortable with leaving our friend the prince while we go kill his pet.
We were caught. We killed 4 other guards. You know, I mean, we get put in our jail
Hopefully, they
cell.
haven't found that out yet.
You're right.
I'll go with whatever you guys think.
I like the idea. I like the idea of trying to distract the prince while we kill that thing. I don't like the idea of sending Silver in alone, but do we really have a choice?
I think the only
Listen,
other
I
option we
was-
would have was to send them in with Topsy, and Topsy's, you know, brand new. I don't think that's fair to our mercenary friend, you know?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Topsy, if you have any sort of disguise or thing that you could choose to use at the moment, this might be a good.
Well, I could turn into a cat.
That's true.
There you go. You and Apu can
Oh.
hide in the back.
That's
What's
right.
an up?
Oh, that hasn't happened yet, has it? Okay, well then, you'll soon find out.
Wait,
So
you
I'll
really want me to go in
climb
the bag?
over to the party, and I won't, for the right now, I won't take off my character sheet. Just, I don't know how this is going to play out, but I'll hand it over, and I'll say, you know, I was a member of this court. I don't know if Prince Ashhart will remember me, but I know what it's like. I know how to talk to them. I think that I'll be able to buy you enough time. Kill the beast, escape, and I will be right behind you.
Always. Okay. Sure, you will. You'll be right behind.
Shank Wolder is going to step forward and say, "Who is going to carry this sword?" And he says, "I
Oh, is he gonna take it?
I volunteer. I'd be glad to carry this sword for you, friend."
Shank will be the next character, next player character after somebody dies.
What is Alpine? What kind of sword is it?
Two-handed, great sword. Well, not great sword, but
And what are we saying is that basically the only the person wielding it is going to be able to see the creature?
If it grants infravision. So if it happened to be under the effects of that darkness spell like you experienced the first time, it would help with that.
Yep.
I
And you
think
have to
Shank's
be
the only one that
wielding-
can use it.
Yeah.
it's also a +1 great sword. I mean, a long sword. So it's a or whatever the heck whatever the two-handed sword's called. I think it's called two-handed sword in OSC,
Yeah.
Well, Geoffrey?
and it gives bonus to undead.
I could certainly wield it, you know.
A little too big for me.
I say let Shank have it. Joffrey, you got your
No.
magic sword and a shield.
I do. The only thing about it is that if he goes invisible, I'm not going to be able to hit it with my magic sword and
That's
whatnot.
true,
And
actually. Yeah.
but Sir Chide's sword is a nasty bee too. So it's like I would want somebody to be wielding that against it. Do I take Alfheim for now and give him Sir Chide's sword for a minute? I mean, he's gonna die. Let's face it. He's just gonna die.
Don't
Yeah, he's
tell him
standing in front
that.
of Shank.
Sir
If you give me
Geoffrey,
one
that
of
was
these implements,
very
I might have a
rude.
chance.
Friend. Shank, come here. I've been meaning to tell you, you might fit in with this party. Maybe you might be willing to join us at one point. I was like, I'm not even talking to Topsy at all. Like,
I'm gonna take Alfheim and I'm gonna give Shank Sir Chide's sword.
Okay, sounds good. He seems happy. He's like, I got something.
Yeah.
Wielding. He's
It's
looking
on
at it.
loan.
So that's the +2 sword.
Yeah, and on Alfheim, it's a +1 as a baseline, but it gets an additional +1 against the undead.
And is it a D8?
The D10.
D10? And I won't be able to wield my shield. So
Mm-hmm.
my AC will be, I believe, 15.
Sounds good. All right, so then the plan is Silver, and by the way, the elf caller or the herald, his name is Gipthin.
Then,
He is a
So
lifesaver. Thank God for you, Gipton.
yes.
For real.
he's going
we
to
were gonna kill him.
announce Silver, and the two of them are going to be the distraction for the court while the rest of you go to deal with the unicorn. All right. So, is there anything else that the group is going to do in terms of like preparation before going to where the unicorn is at?
I'm gonna tell my brother I love him, and if anything happens, I'll see him in the next life.
Yeah, just as a reminder, and I know we all have this straight, but he needs to get the light spell off, so there needs to be some protection.
Yes.
And that's my
So-
deal. I'm gonna stay back with him and guard him. Basically, well, that's the thing. If I'm gonna guard him, then I shouldn't have Alfheim maybe we should keep Homie back to guard him.
You want Shank to
Whoever's-
be kind of defending the Friar?
That would be
Well, I don't
that would be fine. Yeah.
You want
Well,
to do that? He's got a +2 sword. He doesn't have much hit points. I was thinking to stay back because I am like kind of more like a shield. I've got lots of hit points. I could take some hits for you. But at the same time, he's not going to be able to get many hits off on the creature. But are we hoping that your spell will just, if you get that spell off, we're good? We won't have to get hits on the creature? I'm staying back.
well, no. If the spell gets off, then everyone gets to hit it instead of just you.
Oh,
Right.
instead of just me.
Assuming that it can't cast it twice.
Yeah, then
We'd be in big trouble.
Okay,
Um,
So then we have to strike
Bummer.
last.
okay. I'm going to be up front with Alfheim, and we'll have our friend guard my brother.
Well, we're there
I would
too.
just.
Oh, sorry. Was that?
What did you say, Moreen?
I said, well, we're there too. I mean, we're not going to let it get him.
Just thinking we should have one person dedicated to just making sure nothing gets the Friar, right?
I'm just trying to reassure you. Come on, let's go.
Let's go.
All right. So formation wise, just to give me kind of an idea, Friar's in the back with Shank. I would say Li, the goat folk magic user, is probably in the back too. Probably would tell you that his spell that he has is a magic missile spell. So as long as he can see it, that's what his plan is to cast that to hopefully take the edge off its health a bit. And then who's the other one that's still here?
I'm there too.
The hunter, Bunk. I mean, he'll be in the back with his bow out. Kind of same thing. So from my perspective with the NPCs, that's kind of they're basically all of the NPCs are going to be back with the Friar.
Little surrounding.
What's your
how do-
front line looking like? It's going to be Sir Geoffrey with who else?
Thomas.
Thomas will be up there.
I have a.
Topsy's
Well,
up
I
there.
have a.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I just have one question before
Yes.
before I decide where I stand, and that is, what are we going to do about it if it tries to fly away? Maybe one of us should jump on its back or something. Be ready to?
Got it.
Okay.
He's eager to go for a ride.
You're right.
It's
I
always
have a
good
big
to have
sword,
that
too.
person on your team that's willing to volunteer for whatever shit job you're gonna that needs to be done.
You're telling me I get to ride a Brooks unicorn into the sunset? That sounds amazing.
No, my friend.
So let's begin.
Let's do it.
So the group, you follow the directions that you were given by the seneschal, and you will emerge to this stone-lined chamber that has a thick floor of grass, and there's climbing vines that scale the walls. It's probably the most naturalistic of the rooms that you've been in thus far, and there is a pool of clear water that you can see at one end of the space. And you see the great creature. It is visible. It is near. It is standing near the pool. And as you emerge in the entranceway here, it stares back at you. This massive stallion, larger than even the war horses of the armies of the Lumoran Empire. Its coat mottled, caked in blood. Its crimson eyes glowing in the gloom of the chamber. Time to roll some initiative. Who would you like to be the caller for this one?
How about Winston? Well, let's give it to Winston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be like that's the way the conversation's going in the other room.
That's how I'll doom you to defeat. All right, hold on. Let me pull it up. Where is that? All right. I'm going to roll it digitally so that way you can't blame my bad dice.
First of all, was there any spell casting right off the bat?
Is there darkness yet?
Not yet.
Then I can't. Then I'm not going to be able to cast until there's darkness.
Gotcha.
I rolled a 3.
Hopefully the magic
It's-
missile.
The Bragel going to do? Is the Bragel magic user going to do anything?
Yes. So he'll take the risk that he will be able to see it. I rolled a 5.
I'm going to use the one reroll we have left, right?
Sounds
Mhm.
good.
Come on.
Please.
Oh,
no!
a true reroll.
3 plus 3 is 6, though, right?
And so the unicorn goes first. I think what it does is pretty obvious, but I just gotta get my entry up here.
Let me guess.
Casts darkness. All right. So D6.
I would like to cast.
Oh no
a
no
spell.
no! I guess it's your turn. So
No.
yeah.
I don't know.
So
If anyone can do
movement.
anything.
The room is dark. Pretty much the darkness spell encapsulates this entire chamber that you guys are in. Those of you, I'm gonna say none of you are in the darkness. Like you're like at the precipice of the entrance into the cavern. So you just see like the chamber itself is dark. So to step forward or move forward, you would be entering into the barrier. So with that, we'll start off with movement. Any movement?
Can I get to the beast?
You can. Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna charge it.
And with the infravision, you can see that it's still like there by the pond. It hadn't moved. It spent its turn casting that.
I'm going to decide that, since I know that the rest of the party cannot see, that every motion that I make or that it's moving, like I'm going to basically describe the scene as I'm moving. I'm moving up to that. It's straight ahead of me. Listen to my voice. It's to the left. It's to the right. Blah, blah, blah. It's going to warn the creature, but the creature knows I'm there. So
yeah. Any other movement? Otherwise, I think NPCs are holding position. Like they heard the strategy. They're kind of waiting a bit for the light.
I can't see it. I can't see anything. I'm going to prepare that once the darkness goes away, I move forward, but I've got my weapons out.
Same here.
And I'm going to start bellowing a battle hymn.
Nice.
Sounds good. So, Geoffrey, you're the one that can see it.
All right.
Come on.
And it's okay. So I got a +1 from my strength and a +1 from the sword. A 15.
15 misses.
Oh, no.
All right. So initiative, spellcasting.
Yes.
Are you spellcasting, Alex?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I feel like the wizard would wait. Like he'd wait until it was not a gamble. Because like if you lose initiative, or if you lose initiative, and the friar was attacked, potentially, I don't know.
All right. You would say though, all right, you all protect me. This has to work.
Yeah. Okay.
Here.
I'm cursed.
I rolled a 4.
Oh,
Rolled a 3.
You are consistent.
Yeah.
See, it's not the dice or the digital. It's me.
The unicorn is going to take the fight to the threat that obviously can see it, and so he's going to make 3 attacks against you.
All right.
Bring my tray right here in front of me.
Like 3 attacks. Holy crap.
First, he gets up on his hind legs and he's going to try to pounce with the hooves. A 20 to hit.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And that is going to be a D8 of damage.
Oh, Lordy.
Let's see. 3 points of damage.
Okay. I'm alive.
Other hoof, 14 to hit.
That misses.
And then the horn.
That's the bad one.
Mess with the ball.
Misses. A 7. All right, so it is the party's turn. Any movement, ranged
We're
attacks, fail.
Yeah. My plan is to move forward as soon as I can see. So I will go, move and attack after the spell.
Yeah,
comes.
so like it'll be on another initiative count.
I would.
Stay in between the creature and the party. Basically, whatever it does, I'm gonna stay between.
I think at this point, maybe the friar would say, "Move up! This is going to work." He would yell. He would say, "Everyone, move up! It's gonna work."
I will move.
Okay. So
Then-
some of you are starting to stumble around in the darkness in preparation for that.
Maybe we'll distract the unicorn.
Here just a second, because all the ranged would fail at this point. And really, the only attack that could possibly land would be Sir Geoffrey. So go ahead and take your swing.
A 10.
10 will miss. And at the end of this turn or this round here, the light spell goes off and dispels the darkness.
Saint Faerie of the Cup, I pray to you now to help us. Dispatch this horrible, let us help and get rid of this corruption.
And then the light would kind of shine.
Yes, and there's an intensity, a glimmer of hope from the light spell as you all can now clearly see the target. You can see now Sir Geoffrey has taken a bit of damage and it's kind of staggering. He's struggling to keep up with this massive creature. But now there's a chance that reinforcements might be able to aid. So D6. Now the wizard is going to cast. He's declaring his spell.
Anybody else?
Moving up.
Moving forward and attacking.
Okay. All right. Here we go. I'm gonna roll the d6. Jesus Christ.
What
I rolled a 5. Unicorn. I think it's just at this point, he's in melee with Sir Geoffrey, so that's where it's at. Hooves, first one misses. Second attack is a 13, and then the horn. The horn is a 17 to hit.
Oh,
That hits.
Oh no.
4 points of damage.
All right, I'm alive. I'm still standing. Yeah.
And
Alright, and then
Alex, is this considered undead?
no,
But it is Fae.
it is.
Right.
It would be considered fairy. All right then. That brings it over to you guys. Movement.
Oh,
Let's go get him.
Yeah, moving up and attacking, maintaining, bellowing louder in my song.
Shank will, I think, remain back to continue to cover the Friar. But yeah, Li and Bunk will remain in the back as well. Who all is moving up into melee? Okay, we got 3 of you up there. All right, sounds good. Let's do our ranged.
that is it's hard because it looks like a 8 and a 13. That is 19 to hit.
19 hits.
Send out a little stone. Ooh, 4 points.
4 points of damage to the corrupted unicorn. All right. Li. No, not Li. Bunk, the human hunter, will take a shot with his bow. His will miss. Any other ranged attacks? All right. Melee. We can start with Sir Geoffrey.
See if I can get a hit off on this one. That's a natural one.
All right, that one will miss. Thomas, you had moved up.
17 plus 1 and 18
18 hits.
for 5 points of damage. It's a silver weapon. I don't know if that matters.
All right, so you strike in, and you can see more blood is oozing. More aesthetic for its mottled hide. We've got the Grimalkin is up there.
Yeah, my sword that's rather short. That's not how they'll say those words. It's okay. I'm gonna hit it. I don't think a 15 hits though.
A 15 does not hit. All right.
So I'll hit it,
Okay, you're moved up into melee?
Yep.
Okay.
or I try to hit it anyway.
A
17?
17 will hit.
So 6 points of damage.
6 points of damage
Nice.
and a magic missile.
Nice.
Nice.
Winston, I like your dice. Why don't you roll me a d6?
It better not be a 3.
No, you gotta restart your computer. There's something going on here.
But on this day, a 3 is enough. And you watch the blast of arcane energy come from the fingertips of that goat folk magic user, and it goes sailing right over to the head of the unicorn. And we go into bullet time for a second as it's just and you watch the body of the unicorn drop into the pool, and all of the starts to corrupt the clear waters of that font that it was drinking from.
It's probably not good.
Yeah.
And so you are out of combat, and you have killed this unicorn.
You okay? I love you too, brother. I'm sorry I didn't say it.
Mission accomplished. Let's go.
But we gotta get silver.
I know. I'm joking.
No,
Now
sorry.
we need
I'm
Never
going to
mind.
blame the fact that I didn't get a single hit off on the creature and the fact that I'm not wielding Sir Chide's sword, and I'm immediately give Alfheim to the fighter and be like, give me that back. We did the job. Now take this for now.
It's the sword that's the problem.
This thing doesn't weigh. It doesn't have the right weight.
It's suspiciously light. It feels very odd, floaty.
Yeah, I think we go. Are we gonna head back to try to confront the prince and get our friend and get the fuck out of here or something, or are we gonna run?
We're gonna fade on you guys for a second, because we need to go and see what's happening in the throne room while that battle. That would have taken some time. Meanwhile, Silver, you are with the seneschal, and the two of you. He just kind of looks at you and he says, whatever story that you come up with, I will lend support as I can. We will do everything we can to buy your friends enough time.
Understood.
And with that, he goes forward and opens those double doors. Let me just, we'll readjust this token, and we'll move that so people can kind of see where we're going.
I'll pause before he goes all the way in and say, when you announce me by my real name. And I'll give him my real name, which is Turin Randir. I'll post it over there. He may remember it.
He says, understood. And so together you enter into this chamber, which almost feels like walking into the thick of a forest grove. Like you suddenly don't feel like you're underground or inside this mound. Even as you look up to the ceiling, you can see sighing leaves and twilight The stars are glittering in the sky. The floor here is moss and grass. And you can see there's a bubbling spring off in the corner that brings with it the sound of water to this gloom. There are draperies that hang between the tree trunks, banners of Harkthold, and you can see a large chair that rests upon a boulder. The chair is crowned with the carving of a stag's head, and sharp thorns protrude from the chair's sides and back. Shadows obscure the chair from further examination. There you can see the prince. He is a thin elf who has kind of silvery hair. He looks just like you kind of remember the Prince of Seven looking. He kind of raises an eyebrow as the seneschal enters in. There's definitely guards here. There's like 4 armored guards, and it looks like maybe 2 other like advisors that are wearing kind of similar robes as the seneschal that you were entering in with. But he says, "My lord, I bring before you a visitor from home. This one is known as Turin Randir, and he has spent many moons among the mortal folk and comes with great interest of speaking with you." And the prince looks to you, Silver, and he just says, "Oh, delightful. A friend from home. This is quite surprising and welcome, friend."
And I will I'll step forward and go to one knee, hand across my heart, and bow and just kind of show fealty and say, "Prince, it has been a long time since I have been in your presence. I have heard many good things since I've been gone. I've been scouting the mortal realm, learning about the mortals, their proclivities, their weaknesses, their interests in our realm, and I have been seeking a passage home. What brings you here?"
Well, I'm sure you are well appraised of news of home. We, like many of our people, are in retreat, but using the powers of this place, we are able to traverse to many different places throughout the land of faerie, and yes, even here in the Dolmenwood. So we are scouting. We are looking for a place maybe that we can call home. But let us not linger too much on such dreary topics just yet. We should have some refreshments, a basic level of hospitality. And he looks around at the other attendants who kind of like bow, and you can kind of see them withdraw, and suddenly there's like a banquet table that kind of like appears out of nowhere from behind you. And he says, we should eat. We should drink. I'd be very curious to hear what your observations of this area are. Perhaps this is a place that we might be able to call our new home.
Alex, as he's speaking, is he like a middle ground between the jovial and the serious, or does he feel more like the serious? Or something different?
Maybe something a little bit different, although he seems like he doesn't really want to talk about what you just brought up. Like, he's already talking about bringing out drink and wine and things like that, so...
Right.
Probably more like jovial, I would say, if you had to guess between those two spectrums.
Interesting. I'll just say, as I'm like reaching for a goblet of wine, just say, I've always advocated, somewhat behind the scenes, that the prince who is 7 really should rally around one of his personas, and I'm happy to see you've chosen my favorite.
The prince who was 7.
Of course. Which is why I am here. I've heard that you have decided to manifest yourself into one entity. Like I said, the 7 entities fighting against each other and created a power vacuum in Lampwrack. So I'm happy to see direction. Cheers. And I'm just kind of like trying to egg him on a little.
And he raises a glass. He says, "Cheers to you, my friend. You must be hungry."
Sure, absolutely. I've been feasting on mortal food, and I'll pull a ration out of my pocket and say, "They call this food," and just like toss it.
No, none of that for you. Here we eat as our kind should. And he, with a flick of his wrist, you can see a bunch of goblins come in carrying this like silver platter, like it's like the huge like main course, and they place it upon the table and they lift the cover, and there you can see a plump, flayed man who is clearly Farmer Marrow with an apple in his mouth. And the prince gives a wide smile and he says, "Let us dig in."
I'm thinking about my friends who are trying to like buy time to escape. Looking at this human.
Let's say, of course, let us feast.
And you can see the seneschal is like barely like containing his disgust and revulsion.
I'm just thinking he's already dead. Nothing can be done. Like he's like, don't have to actually eat it. Like, we'll just get it on a plate and keep going.
So the goblins are like cutting up parts of him and like putting it on plates, almost like carving a turkey. And the prince, Ashhart, continues speaking, and he says, I have ascended, my friend. I have ascended. I am no longer the prince who is 7. I am a prince of 1 who has joined with the 9.
The 9 legs.
The Neg Lord. I feel he is a part of us. He is a. We have heard of gods. I believe that his spirit is calling out to elf kind. We must join with him. We must become one with him.
I didn't peg you, my liege, as a man of faith. Interesting developments. Do you serve the Nag Lord, or is the Nag Lord serving you?
I have bent the knee to the Nag Lord. It is the only way for us to preserve our lineage, our home. We must convince the other elf lords that this is the way forward for us.
Well, if you would permit me to be candid before you, I have been scouting these lands. Would you be interested in hearing my report?
Of course.
Well, I hesitate to tell you this, my prince, but I have been a faithful servant to the court for years. I know there have been our disagreements, but I have to tell you that these lands are not fitting for our kind. And I don't mean the people. Those are easily removed, as you can see, and I point to the disgusting corpse that's before me. We can remove the people, but the lands are not fitting for us. They're not, how do you say it? They don't contain the beauty that we deserve to live in. They're mundane, to put it bluntly. I don't think this is the realm we should seek. I think that there are other realms that are more fitting for us.
He stares at you. You are right. You are absolutely correct. I am bored. I am bored of this place. I think our work is done here. Let us leave immediately. Yes. And he just like throws some of the plates on the floor. We are done here. And he claps it, and the knights just kind of shift, like they're a little bit confused. But he starts to move towards this door here, and he says, Turin, come. You must come with me.
Naturally, but before we go, I'm assuming that, and I'm just hoping to God that they escape. They're escaping and not trying to like come back for me as per the instructions. I just, where would you take us? I just, before we go, you seem heated. I just want to make sure we're thinking through our strategy. Purely stalling.
He's just like, there's no thinking. We just need to go. We must move forward. We must explore. Let us step back from this place and go. Let us see what we find.
Absolutely. I think you're right. I think exploration is the key. So we should try to find a place we've yet to inhabit and see what becomes of it, right? I will advise you.
Yes. I am in need of some better advice. And he just like looks around at the others that kind of, become real small. They're worried about his wrath. And he leads you over to this door here, and he says, yes. And you can see there is like a dolmen portal there. And he goes and he speaks some words in the High Elvish and activates the portal. When you can see the miasma start to swirl about, he says, we must go now.
And what of this place?
We will leave it behind. Maybe we will have use for it again one day.
Understood. Let's go. I relish the adventure. Did I tell you that I'm writing an epic poem? I'll share it with you sometime.
That would be wonderful. And he steps forward through the portal and disappears. Some of the guards start following behind him. You can see the seneschal just kind of looks at you, Silver, and says, I will stall as long as I can. I will try to share with your friends what has happened here.
I'll just give him a knowing look, and I'll flash the fog out of my eyes for just a second, just for him to see. and flash it back.
And then Silver steps through the portal with the others. And we will flash forward to the group coming back to this location, and it will be just the Seneschal there. As you all come back, hoping to find Silver, he will share with you what has happened, what happened with the meeting, and that the prince has departed.
Alex, I have a question. Did you say that the body of the unicorn fell into the water? Is the body
Yes.
not? It is not accessible to us, right?
It's pretty shallow pool. Like the body is probably even like partially above the water line of the pool.
Okay. One thing that I wanted to do before we left was attempt to cut its horn off and take it.
Totally doable and done. We'll add one unicorn horn to your inventory.
I would say maybe while that's going on, we would maybe pull the body of the unicorn out of the pool too, just for drinking water purposes. Like, I don't want it leaching in there. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, no problem. You kind of like pull it out, and you probably notice as you're doing that, the body seems to be like sort of becoming vaporous a little bit. Like it's almost like kind of decaying and becoming this vapor.
Easy.
Probably should be masking.
Yeah.
Don't want to get unicorn 19.
So, the herald, sir, was Silver okay? He was okay with
I believe he is buying you time, but he had convinced Prince Ashart to leave here.
Did everyone go with them?
His immediate guard has gone.
That makes the immediate threat of this area is neutralized. You know, Silver did a great benefit to this region by having, taking that prince away from here. The only problem is that most likely it'll be a threat somewhere else. And for sure Silver is standing right in the middle of that threat.
I must inform you that this place will close very soon.
Well, then we should get busy. Do you mind if we take things?
Feel free to take a look around. If there is anything that you can use, it is not to be noticed by my prince.
Yeah, he didn't sound like he was a guy who would notice much. Okay, thank you. Come on, guys, let's go looting. Sorry, getting things.
So basically, like around here in the throne room, there's like a couple of side passages here that you'd be able to like get some stuff. That's probably about it. Because as soon as dawn comes, the Seneschal is saying, dawn happens, you will be locked in here and you will be trapped.
I don't want that.
And with the Prince Ashart gone, he's the one that has the ability to reopen it. So, but with that, you will be able to find some things. So this right here is an armory, and in here you're going to be able to find some enchanted arrows. There are 12 +1 arrows that you can pick up from here.
Nice.
Lovely, thank you.
There are also, curiously, 2 long swords, and these are pure iron long swords.
Ooh.
Huh.
Certainly take those with us.
All
Yeah, I
right,
think
so 12 +1 arrows to Lillibeth, and then who wants to take these 2 long swords?
I mean, I'll carry them for now.
And then up over here, you're going to find a locked chest and wardrobes that contain courtly clothes suitable for Fey nobles. There are 3 dozen robes and courtly gowns present.
That's a lot. We should carry what we can.
Yes.
God knows. Yes.
And unfortunately, they will dissolve once you leave the mound. But they
don't know
like
that.
look like super valuable, and like you're probably like you're raiding the closets, you're stuffing and everything that you can. But there is a locked chest.
Topsy?
Yeah.
Are you a lucky?
Of course I do. It's like a big puzzle. I like puzzles.
I'm like literally picturing you like pulling out a cat claw and like sticking it in the.
How did you know?
All
Like
right.
she probably go over, like crouch down by the chest, like put an ear to it, like one tongue sticking out, and just a claw just like kind of going at it, just see if she can figure it out. I do have pick locks as a skill, so
Yeah, so what is your percentage chance at this level?
I have a 20% chance of making this work.
All right, so go ahead and roll percentile.
Oh, 30, so not quite.
Doesn't make it.
Well, this one's a little too tricky for me right now. Maybe later.
Can I try to batch it in?
Sure.
What would I roll for that?
Roll me a d6, let's say.
6, 5.
Doesn't seem to loosen the lid.
Do we just take it with us?
Do it.
Taking it with you? Okay. So you have one locked chest. It's pretty heavy.
Okay, so we've got hench people. Everybody can carry something.
All right. I don't believe there is anything kind of left from the throne room. So you got like kind of all the valuables that you would be able to scoop up on your way out.
Okay.
So as you are emerging from the mound, at some point there's going to be like a dwarf that'll emerge as well, and they will start to share a little bit of their story, that they are from some place you've never heard of. In our world, dwarves are extremely rare to like have ever seen one. You'd be vaguely kind of familiar with them from stories and things like that, but none of you would have ever seen a traditional looking dwarf like this. But he will say that he was kidnapped at some point along the road wherever he's from, and he was there making weapons, specifically those pure iron weapons, preparing
And
these faerie in here for warfare against their own kind, basically.
Against faerie.
This is not very good at all.
This is all very, very bad. And it's all tied in with it's starting to feel like the Naglord is our arch nemesis at this point.
Yeah.
Yes.
Showing up and ruining stuff for us, and it looks like he's gonna ruin all of the Fae if he can.
Now, this dwarf is from the mortal realm, but just somewhere far away from Dolmenwood.
Correct. Yeah.
Right,
And
okay.
far away from the Lumoran Empire. It's like some place that you just haven't heard of.
What is his intention? What is he planning on making a long trek home, or?
At this point, he's like, he doesn't know what Dolmenwood is. Like, he's like, where the hell am I? You know, can you help me get back to like a place of civilization where I can, you know, basically at this point, he's like kind of telling you like his plan is maybe there's a place where I can like hunker down and like earn some coin, and at some point in the future, maybe I'll be able to find my way home. But
Are you a smith?
he says, yes,
Well,
he's
yeah,
among the
maybe-
best.
Well, maybe there's a place for you back in Lakeshore,
Introduce you to the Bergmeister.
and the other smith. I mean,
As to, you know, daylight is coming about. You've all emerged from the faerie mound at this point, and that doorway is gone. Maybe some 30 minutes after you emerge, it goes away. If you're heading back to Lakeshore, exhausted, tired, you're noticing the leaves in the trees are like orange and yellow.
Shit, did we travel to did time travel differently while we were down there?
Yeah. What state of decay are the 5 bodies laying outside? Does it look like they've been dead a while?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Well, Alex,
There's
considering that
probably just like basically some of their like equipment laying there. Animals and such would have run off with the bodies. Maybe there's some errant bones in the area.
Oh, my poor old.
Like 3 children.
Yeah, Apollith is not there. The dog is not there.
no.
So I just
We
want to
know
say
where-
it's very important that you establish ground rules for payment for these mercenaries, because they will only receive for one day.
Right.
That's the rule. That's how we adjudicate that.
Not however many years we've been gone, or months. Hopefully not years. Apu, how hungry are you? Because you're in the backpack.
He's
He
safe.
seems like the same level of hungry as he always is, which is very
Mhm.
Hey, ravenous.
yeah.
Okay.
My friends, just kind of as we're kind of moving back, pains me. I hate to say it. Maybe I don't hate to say it, but pains me to see that Silva is gone. He's become a true friend. He sacrificed himself for us and for everyone, all the people here.
We still have hope we'll see him again, right? Don't we
feel like-
always?
I feel like this is not the last we have seen of the Naglord, and hopefully, you know, Silver has showed himself to be silver-tongued as well as silver-browed. So I hope that he can remain out of harm's way until we might be able to help get him out of that harm's way. I really don't think this is the last we've seen of the Naglord. And because of that, I don't think it's the last we've seen of our friend.
Friar, I've never been devout, per se. Do you think we could just keep him in whatever blessings prayers that
I-
you do for us.
Of course. At night I used to pray about him. I'm going to be honest, and give me the strength to work with him. But I was so ignorant and naive. I feel he is in my prayers, and he will be in all of us. I'm sure that we hope that he is taken care of and that corruption does not find him.
Yeah.
He was a good man for sure.
And I'll put my hand on my brother's shoulder and say, we will see him again. We will help keep that corruption from getting to him. We'll shine the light on it.
Yes, that's good.
And I think probably that sentiment is like the right note to close the session out on. We will probably be doing some discussions in the interim here between now and the next session, just to kind of dictate, like, there's a lot of business to deal with. First of all, what day is it actually? But it's sometime in autumn.
Right.
You're out of, it's not summertime anymore.
Not lullaby.
So the good news about that is probably you could go pick up your things from the blacksmith.
That's one way to get there faster.
You also will have a lot of reconfiguring in terms of what is the goal of this group now at this point, having dealt with the unicorn. Is it poking around and learning more about what the Burkmaster has going on with the half Breggle child in his attic? Is it reconnecting with Madame Shantywood's man and seeing if he's even still around? Is it where the hell is Paulith? We need to find her and the dog. There's like a million ways that you guys could decide that this goes. So the more conversations you have in the middle will help me to prepare where you want to go. So we also have a new player in Dawson is bringing Topsy in. These other mercenaries are obviously like paid. They're going to be paid up by the mayor or whatever. You could start hiring hirelings, right? I think Topsy is obviously going to be on board with joining the group, but something to keep in mind if you are going to continue to be doing some big time adventures, and if the promise of going to that elf castle one day, you probably want to bring a lot of hirelings with you to undertake such a thing. But amassing gold and resources to pay a team like that might be a medium-term goal to get yourselves ready for that. But lots of more adventures and things like that happening. We're also saying goodbye to a player and character, obviously, with the exit of Winston playing Silver. So like the sentiment here ended with, we hope that one day we will see Silver again rejoin us. But yeah,
I'll never come back as the main villain.
Yes.
So
That would be sick.
Then we'd have
dis-
to try and save you from yourself. Yes.
That disfigured bastard will be missed.
Yes.
look, now that I don't have Alfheim, I can control my glamour, so I look normal. It's all good. No one knows that I'm missing half my teeth.
Well, let us move into gratitude to end out our session here today.
Yeah, well, I'll grab first one. So I'm going to give a very general gratitude that it's been a lot of fun playing with this group. This has been probably my favorite campaign I've played in ever for tabletop role-playing games. You know, I've got a lot of stuff going on in my personal life with work and everything right now. So it's just been kind of hard to like make the time for as many games I'm in. And so it's nothing to do with the campaign and everything. I absolutely love playing with y'all. It's a great group. And so that's kind of my first piece of gratitude to Alex too, for running a great campaign and having a really cool story connected way to have me exit. That was awesome. I had no idea what was going on. He had mentioned, hey, remember your backstory a little bit, it might come up. And so it was fun to kind of like dig in a bit into like the Elvish lore and like, you know, kind of what's going on with Lampwrack and, you know, the whole thing. In case if you haven't read the player guide, the whole thing with elves is they have a true elf name and they have like an epithet name. It's kind of like an insult name that they go to sort of as jokes, and they don't ever show their real name to mortals. And so there's kind of like, that was fun to like play around with. And it was neat. I just really enjoyed that. And secondary piece of gratitude to Dawson. Immediately love Topsy. So you're going to lose a one fae, gain an extra fae. So it's kind of a nice trade in, and I've been dying to see a Grimalkin player. So I can't wait to see the hairball component come in. It's still in there, isn't it?
It's in ours, yeah.
Yeah. Wait. Anyway, so I'll be following along. I might not be able to like watch every game all the time, but like I'll definitely be able to be listening in when I'm doing other kind of things and stuff. So, anyways, kind of a general gratitude. So again, thank you all for being awesome party members and DM.
Well, I'll throw out appreciation to Winston. It's been a ball. Sorry to see you go, but understand. And also to Dawson for stepping up. Got some big shoes to fill, mister. So,
I got very
Little cat
small feet.
shoes.
yeah, little cat shoes, little cat
Not
booties.
socks.
That's right.
No socks.
No socks. Socks are banned.
I'll piggyback on that. Winston, obviously, it's always a pleasure to play with you, and what you bring just to the party and your characters bring to the party in general is amazing. The insight that you have and the way you play your character, I truly appreciate and enjoy. And it's been a complete pleasure to be able to play with you this time, and hopefully we get to play with you again.
Absolutely.
I don't even know what to say. I mean, I was playing with you practically like twice a week for a very long time. And I know, 3 years with you as a game master with our Eberron campaign, which, we all love. And I've really enjoyed playing with you in this campaign too. And every single other one, including all the ones that you've died in. And all the ones that I've. So it's just, yeah. I honestly, I'm going to feel like I'm losing a big component of my life not playing with you. But I've enjoyed every single minute of it, and I know we'll be continuing to play again, and certainly won't be estranged from each other. Thank you.
I really appreciate that, and hopefully it'll be, like I said, maybe temporary. And all joking about villains aside, this has been fun to play a character who's not outright evil. So for a second, I thought, I wonder if they're gonna think that I actually really was evil the whole time, and like I'm revealing my backstory, but totally was lying to the prince, had no interest in doing bad stuff. So yeah.
No, you sacrificed yourself. So.
And if you were, we wouldn't know.
And Dawson, it's always great to play with you. I am absolutely looking forward to all the different ways that you are going to express the Grimalkin in this.
I guess I'll throw my gratitude out to Winston again. Since listening to the podcast on this, I loved Wayman. Wayman's great, and then have him taken so quickly kind of was a little rough. But then having it be filled with Silver brought a nice, interesting dynamic to it of how the interaction between the faerie and the mortals came into play, and I just loved listening to all the stuff you talked about. And it's gonna be sad to see you go for a bit.
For sure. I'm mostly bummed not to be able to play with Pruno.
I know.
Just the timing just didn't work out, but yeah. Anyways.
Yep, and I'll jump on that too. I'm with Moreen, where it's like it's gonna be weird, man. It was like playing twice a week with you for a long time, going to once a week. Now it's not gonna be playing with you. Like, I'm gonna miss you, dude. Like, that's just real talk. I'm not as active on the Discord as I would like to be, and I'm pretty busy with life too, so I totally get it. But just real talk, dude. I love you like a friend, man, and I'm gonna miss you.
Really appreciate that, and that's what makes it really hard, but it's also good. It makes it hard, but it also makes it feel safe. So I really appreciate y'all supporting that, and yeah, I mean, I'm hoping, I really genuinely hoping, and like sometime it's just life's going to be less chaotic. It's gotten more and more and more chaotic throughout the year, so it's just got to that point, But I really want to come back to Dolmenwood. I'd like to come back and be level 2. Maybe I'll negotiate.
Well, we'll put treasure trove aside just for you.
Yeah.
I found a 5,000 experience point object and absorbed it.
Well, you're going to be with Prince Ashhart. God knows.
Yeah, I'm just going to leech experience the gold off of him.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, my gratitude. I mean, you knew this was going to happen, Winston. So it's obviously to you and Dawson. I'm glad that we were able to make it work. That it wasn't like, I'm glad we were able to have both of you kind of in the same session, so it doesn't feel as much like a replacement kind of thing. Because it's not, we can never really replace a seat at the table with another player. Obviously, Winston, I am so thankful that you were able to jump in on this game, just because you do bring an interesting perspective to from your character's perspective is interesting, but also just like the gameplay stuff that you bring in it causes me to think differently about where the story is going, or even how game mechanics work. So I always appreciate having you at my tables. And Dawson, I'm glad that we were able to bring someone in who has like Dawson's listened to like every game, and so like it's so easy to like bring you into the fold, just because you even though your character maybe doesn't know all that backlog, I think it's helpful for the player to know like what they're stepping into and have that appreciation for what's come before. So thanks for being willing to jump in and be a part of this. And of course, Winston, of course, real life always comes first. And so when we learned that you wouldn't be joining us for a little bit, like it sucks, but we get it. And that seat there is always going to be open for you. So maybe you will get to play with Dawson sometime in the future, because we're hoping Topsy's going to be around for a bit here too.
I'm a little worried that Topsy might be willing to touch gems and get electrocuted to death. So,
Well, Barry, if
Bruno knows better.
If Topsy touches anything, it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
It looks like
Yeah,
there's
absolutely.
a little appreciation here in the chat too. Galaxian says Winston GM'd the first 20-side stream I ever caught, and it must have gone well because he's still tuning in. So thanks for sharing that, Galaxian.
Yeah.
Well, I learned literally everything I know about tabletop from this channel. I would say, I think I played 3 total in-person games that were not 20-side directly related in my whole life, like sessions, not campaigns. So definitely huge props out to all the different DMs here, and just get a chance to learn and really have lots of amazing games. I always read horror stories about people who play D&D and have all these weird things that happen. I've literally never experienced anything. I've had a handful of slightly weird player interactions and a few very strange community games here and there or something like that have all been medium level. They're not at all weird. Never had a major weird game go down. Lots of awesome players, the channel, hundreds of people I play with this channel that are just incredible. So but again, I'll be around. I know I'm right now I'm not on anything. I'm planning to make a Planescape character that just joins the community campaign so I can play in a game every once in a while. I think that'll be more manageable. And then once I get to kind of more leveled out stuff at work, I'm hoping that I'll be able to come back and commit to some full longer campaigns. So but yeah, anyways, thanks again, everybody. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
That's a good little promo for anybody watching or listening. We do run a community campaign that is a 5e game. Anybody, you listening or watching, can play in that campaign. So all you have to do is join our Discord server and get the details on that. Probably a lot of the people watching this are super big 5e fans, maybe, but hey, it's there. And Planescape is coming out, and we're gonna have some fun with that and drop into maybe some modern campaign settings, maybe some of the really classic old school campaign settings. So if you're a fan of this channel, you kind of get the flavor of things that we bring to the games that we got going on. So you could be a part of that. So just join the Discord and get up to date with everything going on with the community campaign and everything like that. So we'll be back 2 weeks from now with the next session of Dolmenwood. The Kickstarter just closed last night, so hopefully you got in on that, and we've got now the long wait, right, for the next year. So I think this campaign for Dolmenwood will be going probably about that long, so you can get your fix right here on 20 Sides as we explore more and more Dolmenwood. So with that, we're going to say thanks everybody for watching, and we will see you all again very soon.